Hi, I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
I'm Arthur Nolan.
And welcome to Making It Work. You know, Arthur, when you talk about changes and adjustment, and there's a term we use in the Adventist circles, it's called PK. Have you ever heard that term before becoming Seventh-day Adventist?
Yes. But before
you became a Seventh-day Adventist?
No, I had never heard that term.
PKs. All right, but now that you've heard it, what does PK stand for?
Pastor's kid.
Oh, well, we say preacher's kid.
Well,
preacher's no, we never say pastors. Always preacher's kid.
Wow, I'm learning something.
You got to get that
new.
emphasis.
Okay.
Preacher's kid.
I mean, so
can you say it with me?
What's the advantage of that?
No. It's just that's just the
preacher's kid.
That's it. See how that flows?
So what do they do? I mean,
well, they've been labeled that they're rotten and they're bad, and the pastor, his attention was more on the other members of the church and their children, and then his own children just went through the cracks. Well, that's not true for our guest today. We want to welcome our pastor.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
I didn't know you was a preacher's kid.
I am not a preacher's kid. So you trying to say something about me?
Well, you know,
I didn't fall through the cracks.
Some
all right.
of the descriptions, some of the things you said, you know, kind of.
What, spoiled? Well, we're going to leave it at that.
Okay.
I am. But we want to welcome our guest. We have our pastor, Pastor Leon Bryant, and Sister Barbara Bryant, our First Lady, their beautiful daughter, Lindsey Bryant.
Hi.
Welcome, Lindsey.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you know I'm going to tell it. I would see Lindsey running around the campground, and our campground is called Camp Wagner, and it's located in Cassopolis, Michigan, and it's within the Lake Region Conference, which is inside the North America Division. And she would be working in the snack bar. She would be all over the place, but she would come and hang out at my cabin. Remember we used to have the cabins? And she would come. But now she's such a beautiful young lady. Look at you. I'm so proud. So what do you think about this term PK? You know, were you ever called that?
Oh, yes, all the time. Really? Growing up, hearing PK, it was just a label. You know, people would label you and say, oh, you're a PK? Oh, man, that means you're this, that, and the third. And a lot of people would just, you know,
Would it irritate you?
Yeah, it would really irritate me to the point where I would not tell people that I was a PK just because people would stereotype and label me from first experience or first introduction.
So because at church, everybody knew you were the pastor, so you're talking about when you went off to boarding school or college?
Boarding school, yeah.
Or places like Camp Wagner, you know, with some meeting new people.
Definitely. Because a lot of people, you know, at Camp Wagner, a lot of people didn't see you with your parents or stuff like that. So it was, you're just with your friends and things like that. So people, I think that people would treat you differently if they knew that you were PK. They would say, oh, I can't say this or say that around them because, you know, her dad's a pastor. And even in the church, I had friends who said, oh, you know, be quiet, you know, we can't say that because the pastor's daughter's right here. But that was the difficulty of it all.
So what is it like being a pastor's daughter? What is it like?
You know, it's not nothing spectacular about it, because to me, I'm a human being first. You know, I'm God's child. I fall short just like everybody else does, and I try to explain that to people before they even say, "Oh, you're a PK? I didn't know that." So, but being a PK, you know, you go a lot of places, and I love that about it because you get to travel. So, you know, I can think of several places that I've been because of, you know, my dad's profession, but being a PK, you meet a lot of people, and you're always going to federations and congresses and, you know, all these things. So that was the things that I really enjoyed about, you know, the fact that I'm a PK.
Okay, go ahead.
But I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask is that you're moving. you know, and you got to move from here and pick up and leave friends that you have. And then next thing you know, you're somewhere else. You got to meet new friends. So how was that? Especially growing up as a middle school child, high school, you know?
Yeah, it was, in the beginning, it was really tough. I didn't understand why we had to move, because at the time, I can think of an example. We lived in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and I was in the 6th grade. I just finished 6th grade, so I was going on to the 7th grade, and that's all I knew. I'd been there, I can't remember how long we'd been there, but I'd been there, and I had my friends, I had my church family, a small town. Pine Bluff is just very small. It's not big at all. So when we found out that we were moving to Indianapolis, Indiana, I was like, where is that? Okay, so, you know, I'm thinking, where is that? And I don't have any friends there. I don't know anybody. Number one, this is a whole new conference. So, you know, I'm used to Texas and going to Lone Star Camp. That was the camp there. So, you know, and I love that campground.
It's better than Camp Wagner?
I'm sorry. They have a lake and they have horses.
No. Oh, we're going to have to get a lake and some horses.
Everybody says that, you know, they want, you know, that they want horses at Camp Wagner.
We're working on it. Somebody's got to be working on it.
So, but when we moved, it took a while for me to get adjusted, because it was a big city. You know, going from a small city, rural area, to this, you know, they have more than one mall. They have more than one Walmart. So it's like, oh my goodness, this is so great. So, that was the most difficult. I guess it was difficult at that time, because I was going into the 7th grade, and then the church school was bigger than the one that I had come from, so I didn't know anybody. So
now let's go back. You know, your father, his profession, this was his work, this is his job. Just like if he was a doctor, attorney, or a teacher, he is a pastor.
Right.
You know, how old were you when you realized your father was a pastor? You know, when you would see him up there as a little girl and say, what is he doing up there? You know. Or did you always just know, oh, he's in charge?
That's a good question.
Well, I mean,
you know.
How did you think about that?
Yeah, I was probably 10 or 11. Yeah, you know, because you get used to seeing like, okay, he's always up front.
Okay,
like, why are you always up front? And then, you know, just seeing him throughout the church service, being up front. And sometimes my dad likes to, let's do this and let's do that. So he's up front all the time. So, I think that was probably 10 or 11.
Right.
Yeah. So did you, I recognize that you indicated you felt pressure to some extent with your friends.
Yeah.
But did you put pressure on yourself at some point? You know,
pressure.
You know, like, I have to do things this way. I have to do things that way.
Well, I think I know I made a conscious decision to not accept the label. Okay. So, of course, the label, you know, you guys are wild, you're not disciplined, you run around acting crazy, just all these different stereotypes. So I think one particular incident just made me realize, okay, I'm not going to accept the label, because that's not who I am as a person. So that was, I guess, the turning point when somebody, you know, comes to you and kind of disrespects you or says something that's really mean. As a child, you don't know how to take that. So in my mind, I said, okay, yeah, that's not who I am. So I'm going to prove, or not necessarily prove, but, you know, make sure that people don't label me like that because of what other people have done. So,
stereotyping.
Yeah.
Was it easier for you or your brother in the adjustment of transition, moving, the changes?
I would say it was my brother. It was easier for him because he's a guy, you know? So, you know, he gets around, you know, the fellas over here, but girls, you know, we're just kind of like, who is this? You know, I don't like her. She's too cute. You know, all these other things like, and not that I was saying that, but
right.
But you know, a new girl in the area, a new girl, and you know, you just kind of mess up the bubble or the norm in the area. So I think it was easier for my brother.
Now, is it your decision to serve God's church? I see you leading out in praise and worship. You're involved with the federation. You're involved with, different things.
Leadership.
Family life. She's on our family life committee. Is it your decision to do this?
Yeah, nobody's making me do it. Nobody is pushing me. I think the most important thing is the reason why I am in ministry is because my parents are ministry oriented. That's just a part of them. So growing up, I always see them, going to visit sick and shut in, and then going to AYs and being a part. My mom was a Sabbath school leader, and she taught us. So it was kind of weird at first because we were, our age group. It was like, okay, Mom, like, why are you teaching our class? Like, why can't somebody else teach our class? But they're always involved. So I can't see myself doing anything else. Just kind of sitting back and not doing anything. I just feel like it's a part of my calling, being involved and not just kind of sitting down and like letting other people, not necessarily letting other people do it, but having the mindset of I can do it too. So
let me ask, what keeps you on track? I know the Lord is there.
So focused.
But here you are. You're a young African American female, and we have problems keeping youth your age into the church.
Right?
They leave, like, they graduate from college, they go to different ways, and fortunately, you're getting ready to graduate with your master's in social work.
We're so proud.
That's a blessing.
Great calling.
So, what keeps you on track?
Well, you've said it. God definitely keeps me on track, and then I have such a strong support system. Not just my family, but friends who hold me accountable. And that is the most amazing part of it, because there are times, of course, when I want to, okay, let me just step back and kind of push this to the side, push that to the side. But I'm always reminded, like, you can take a break. You can take your breath, but don't, step away. Don't go back too far to where you get complacent. So sometimes I just have to mentally take a break. But I definitely would say that God keeps me stable. And then the support of my family and friends, that's really what keeps me going as well. So.
Do you want to marry and have children someday?
Yeah, of course.
You do?
I do.
Okay, I can see that.
You can?
I can. Oh yes.
No time soon though.
No time soon. I can just see you running around in Cradle Road. Come here.
Oh gosh.
Let me. Your relationship with your mother. I see you both serving on the praise team. I see you in the choir. What is your relationship with your mother? What is that like?
Me and my mom are. We're close. Yeah, we're close. And I guess she has been my backbone from, of course, day one.
Yes.
She's seen me grow up and see me, maybe fall here. But she's my rock, So I really appreciate what not only she has done, but what my dad has done. They're very supportive. They don't want me to settle, and they explain, like, hey, you can do it. Don't second guess yourself. So she's always like, okay, what's going on? She knows if there's something wrong, and if it's on my face, she's just like, what's wrong?
Well.
What's okay? Yeah, she reads me really well. And I guess as mothers, I think all mothers do that. But she's definitely someone that's such a great encouragement to me. And I can remember being away at school, both in high school and at Oakwood, even if it was a phone call that I gave her, and she said, you know what? You sound like something's going. Yeah, and I'm like, how do you know? Like, it was weird, but her support is just felt from either far away or just close by.
That's a blessing.
Yeah. And I definitely have a praying mother.
You have a praying mother. That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, your mother and I, we have a history. You know, your Aunt Bertha, we all attended Oakwood College, now Oakwood University, located in Huntsville, Alabama. And when I found out that Lindsey's mom was going to be my first lady, you know, it's like, oh my goodness, my classmate. And they've been guests on Making It Work. Yeah, so that when our first season, you know, I want to know, what is it that drew you to social work? You know, Brother Nowlin is a LMSW, and I'm like, you know, I've been to clinical psych. But anyway, I'm leave that alone. But what drew you to social work?
Well, as you know, my mom is a social worker as well. So grew up just seeing her being so active as far as her job, and just seeing her. She always had her beeper on her, and she's always, okay, I gotta go. And I'm like, where is this lady going? Like, stay home with me. But that was the first introduction to social work, and or my first introduction to social work. And the thing with social work, I guess, that hit me the most was being able to help people. And I learned that with social work, there's so much that you can do. It's so broad. You don't just have to work with DHS. You don't just have to work with in the school setting. You can work in so many other arenas. And when I was in undergrad, I worked with the AIDS Action Coalition, and I really enjoyed that.
Really?
Yes, I really enjoyed that.
That's a blessing. When we talk about DHS, we're talking about Department of Human Services.
Right.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to talk about with your social work degree. Now, what's your particular area that you're going to pursue?
Well, I did the theory that I chose at Wayne State University was cognitive therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, excuse me.
Excellent.
Yeah, so.
You want to explain that?
Well, sure.
Because, you know, I know, but we want our viewers to hear your perspective.
Okay, well, cognitive behavioral therapy is basically working with the client to understand what has happened in their past. So you're also doing counseling, and with counseling you can give them homework assignments and tell them, okay, so because this has happened to you, let's work on ways to help you get through what happened to you in the past. So I find that very interesting part of social
And
work.
plus, it really opens the doors to so many different areas. I am, cognitive behavioral therapy is my expertise.
Yes.
And one of the things that I recognize is that it just allows you to deal with issues from a therapeutic perspective in so many different ways. You were talking about substance abuse, working with children, addressing those issues and trying to make an impact. And one of the things that really kind of intrigued me when I was making my decision is they talk about how you can be a friend, be a supporter, as well as try to make them feel comfortable in every possible way. You know, so that's a good area.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to finding the right part of social work that I want to work in. So
That's good.
Can I ask one more question before you jump
Well,
in?
go help yourself.
One of the things as a Christian therapist that I think will come up, you know, is your belief in God.
Right.
You know, and dealing with the many different areas that people are having issues with. Homosexuality.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about substance abuse, and we're talking about child pornography. I've had people come to me with those problems.
Right.
How do you propose that you would address that? Being a Christian first.
Being a Christian first. To be honest with you, for me, because I haven't had much experience in counseling, the way that I would approach it is to focus on, you know, what the client is going through, because it's not necessarily what I feel or what I believe, because I don't want to put my beliefs on the client. So, but if I were to be asked, you know, about my beliefs, I would definitely explain that these are my views. Don't feel that I am pushing these views on you. So I would explain my beliefs. Yeah.
That's a good answer. You know, because that's right on target.
Yeah.
You do have to meet the client
Right.
where they are.
Yeah.
You know, and then work from that perspective. Okay, Kim.
Well, thank you so much. You on a roll here today. I tell you. Now, let me ask you, what do you do to enjoy yourself? You know, being a Christian young woman, you know, what is available to our young people today?
There's a lot available
All
to
right,
the young
all
adults
right.
today.
All right.
Actually, I'm involved with the Motor City Young Adult
Adults.
Ministry.
Okay.
And we just came back from a retreat, a young adult retreat.
Okay.
And we just had a wonderful time.
Wonderful.
Had moments where we could discuss various topics. And we had group sessions, and we had church, and we sang. There was bowling and basketball. I mean, the area that we went was very nice.
Where did you go?
We went to Gull Lake Ministry. I'm sorry, and that's in Hickory Corners, Michigan. It's not too far from the LNG White Estates.
Near Battle Creek.
Yes.
All right.
So,
Okay.
but the group that I'm involved with, we actually have Vesper programs planned every couple of Fridays.
Okay.
And
what is Vespers?
Well, it's a worship service. Yes, so we come together, we have a speaker, and we sing, and we share testimonies and things like that. And then we also have potlucks where we come together and we eat and have Bible study.
Excellent.
And Saturday nights we'll go bowling, because we really have competitive people. So yeah.
So this is okay. So look, think of me. I'm going to go there. I'm not Seventh-day Adventist. I like to club. I like to party, and you know, I come to church. I do my thing, but at the end of the day, I want to get to those clubs. How are you going to encourage me to come bowling? And I want to go and party.
Okay.
How are you going to? And being a social worker,
Right.
God has given you that that double ability to enhance the ministry. So how are you going to pull me?
Okay.
You know,
Well,
and I know it's not you. You're a vessel for the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
But how? I want to party.
Yeah.
Bowling, get real.
okay. Well, of course, there are other alternatives besides going and going to the club. So we would say, okay, well, what's the problem with coming bowling on this particular
Well, you're not
night?
dancing. There's no
what?
drinking. There's no. I can't meet guys. You know.
Okay,
You know?
you can meet guys, because there will be guys. It's not just females there. So
Right.
there will be guys there.
Is there gonna be alcohol there?
No, not alcohol.
Oh, okay.
We
No
don't
alcohol.
drink. Yeah.
You don't drink?
No.
You mean you all have a good time without
We
alcohol?
do. We do. And it is possible.
It is possible.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So what else do you all do? Come on. I mean, you got to get me
we
there.
have game nights.
Ga-
You like to
game-
have we
game
have
night?
Game nights. Yes.
I haven't played a game
haven't-
since I was
See,
12.
and
You're
that's-
talking about Scrabble and things like that?
No, we
What
can
kind of
play
game
other
night?
games like Sorry and Uno and Facing. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Table games?
Yes.
She can't play those.
Okay.
She
You
cannot
know,
play those.
Oh, well, the person Kim, but I'm playing a role here. You know, so you're pulling me in. So what else? What else do you have?
Okay. Well, we'll have girls' night out, so we can go out to eat.
Okay.
And not just the girls. We can also invite the guys. Sometimes we'll go out to eat. Walk around downtown or in the
Okay.
other areas here in Detroit, like there's
Okay.
Royal Oak.
You have a lot of single guys at your church?
At my church,
Any church?
yes,
Other churches?
yes, there are.
Nice guys.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Okay.
Very nice
Well, how
gentlemen.
come you still single?
Actually, that is a very good question. Very good question.
You know, all these nice guys.
We're just friends, though.
You just fell right into that. So, you know, but
Can't
this
play any type of board games that I mean, it's
okay,
just
now I'm gonna go back to being,
Phase 10.
you know, wait, I'm going back to being, you know, Dr. Kim.
cheats.
Okay.
All right.
She cheats.
Aaron and I cheat. We do. We cheat.
Cheat?
Yes.
We don't do cheating.
We don't
like
cheat.
it.
Because some people don't move.
That's the beginning of something. If you're cheating in a board game, I mean, you need help. You need prayer, right?
Yeah, we need to talk about that. Come on the council.
You know,
Go to God.
that's right.
You know, so, you know, my thing is being able to make the adjustment. You know, the name of the program is Changes. and adjusted well. You have adjusted well. You're encouraging others to adjust to coming into the body of Christ. Yeah. You know, when you think about how many stars, Ellen G. White, who as the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we consider her as our prophetess, and how it says in her books, Great Controversy, that there'll be no starless crowns. Right. And when you touch a person's life, and then you minister to that person. Can you imagine as you get ready to go out into the field as a social worker, and that you know you have a beautiful countenance about you? I would let you counsel Brother Nowlin and I. You know, really? How would you counsel us? Wait. Okay, let's see. I want to see your technique at work. What would be your first approach in counseling a couple?
She can't counsel you.
But can you give this woman a chance? Okay,
it's rare.
This is what I'm saying. If we came into your session, what would you say?
I would first ask how you guys met. I would want to know some background information.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, he was chasing my skirt.
Okay.
Right. She had ripped it a little bit.
Really?
No. Okay. But we were at a program. Yes. Okay. And then what would be your next step?
And then I would want to know what does the other person have that you love about them?
Nothing.
Okay, that you need to dig it a little deeper.
Okay.
You need to be honest with yourself. Look, think back.
The woman that's why we're here, because she needs help.
You know, but you know, so
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
See, this is why we,
I mean, let's let each other take their time. So
she needs
that
5-minute
first
rule.
And then give each other some time.
She needs a 3-minute. She needs a 3-minute rule. I mean, she just goes on and on and on like that bunny rabbit.
But that's why we're here seeing you today for counseling. Well, Lindsey, you would make a good therapist.
That would just be the first, the first couple.
Then we would need about 50 sessions. I hope our insurance could cover all that. Okay.
We need 50 plus 50. I would be okay. But Kim, there's some denial that would be deep-rooted.
Okay, we're going to leave that alone. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's why we're here.
Can you imagine? He's a social worker, clinical psychologist. Can you imagine?
I can.
We do the program together. We work together. We live together. We love together. We travel together, and we serve the church together.
It's wonderful.
Isn't it wonderful?
It's wonderful.
Lucy.
Good team.
Good teamwork.
But let me ask. It's not. I see this all fitting with you so well. Because you're an outgoing person. You seem to be really legitimate. Yes. You've always demonstrated a kind attitude towards people, so it fits you really well. I don't really see you having any major issues or major problems in this area. I think my concern is with the way the world is now. You have to be set up for a major. You're going to be set up for a major challenge. Dealing with the different issues that exist today.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
And I think you're going to be ready for that. Well, you know what? This has been wonderful. We have 35 seconds. Say something to all those young people out there,
I would like to let you all know to continue to trust God. Most important thing, trust God, because He loves you and He cares for you, died on the cross for you. And don't label other people. That's another thing, since we talked about that today. Don't label other people, because you need to get to know the person as an individual and as a child of God first before you label them. Or don't label them at all.
Don't label them at all. Because none of us like to be labeled only as a child of God. Well, we want to thank Lindsey for being with us. And we praise God for her life. And again, may God continue to keep you. I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
And I'm Arthur Nowlin.
God bless.